Welcome to Beyond the Policy, the podcast where we go past the fine print and into the real stories that shape how we live, work, and protect what matters most. I'm Matt Karaffa, risk advisor, consultant, and founder of the Be Better Foundation, where each week sit down with clients, colleagues, and industry voices to talk about business, life, and the passions that drive each of us and the areas we can all work on to truly be better. This is Beyond the Policy. All right, welcome to Beyond the Policy. Have another great conversation lined up with one of our own here at Risk Strategies, Ethan Plummer, who specializes and works with a lot of our personal and private clients here at Risk Strategies. So excited to get into the conversation and see what's going on in the personal lines world. So again, most of us didn't get into insurance on purpose, so maybe just tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, so it's crazy to think I've been here 10 years now. So going back previous to that, I was in college, working part-time. There's a small mom and pop insurance agency, my hometown of Defiance, that I worked at for a year and a half, just did kind of clerical stuff, really liked it, got licensed, that kind of thing, and switched over to Risk Strategies. I mean, previously it was First Insurance Group, but after we joined Risk Strategies, it's been a pretty cool journey, so 10 years.
Yeah, it's crazy to think how fast it goes, and with that 10 years, a lot has changed. We've had a couple company names, work with a lot of new companies.
Yeah.
When you're having day-to-day conversations with people buying home, auto, umbrella policies, if you go back 10 years to now, what would you say one of the biggest things you've seen in that time span?
Geez, I don't know what hasn't changed. I mean, we've seen pricing increases, coverage changes, severe storms, everything. So to say that, what has changed, what hasn't, I mean, it's the industry. I feel like we're settling into a new normal now, which is crazy to think. Like I said, I've only been in the industry for 10 years, but it feels like I've seen a ton already. But yeah, it's been crazy.
I think one thing unique about, when they hear independent agent or agent in general, a lot of people don't know what that means, because I think a lot of people I talk to, my friends, my family, they think we just have a button, we sit back on the computer like, oh, you get 20%, you get 5%. It can be further from the truth on what's going on out there, and I think one of our biggest jobs, in addition is to providing policies and coverage for our clients, is working with the insurance companies and going through what their changes are. So I think that's a lot. I don't know, how would you describe it to someone kind of behind the scenes of what's going on with all the insurance companies we work with?
Yeah, I mean, I think the conception out there that, insurance is all the same, but it's really not. We represent on the personal line side probably 10 to 15 different insurance companies. So you have 10 to 15 different underwriting guidelines, rate changes, everything. So, you kind of keep to, the ones that you have the best relationships with. And I mean, people don't think so, but it really makes a difference whether you're struggling with, coverage for a claim or not pricing relief, but just the more your insurance companies have a better relationship with them, it truly does make a difference.
And I think that's the biggest thing. Maybe 10 years ago, 7, 8, it used to be pricing would be the only thing that changed. Coverage lines wouldn't really change. Now, hit on maybe a few of the coverages that are changing in the policy: deductibles, wind, hail, equipment breakdown, some of those things that, again, to your point, knowing what's covered, what's not, and what companies are doing. What have you seen, when it comes to the coverage side?
Yeah, I'd say in the past probably year and a half alone, the two biggest areas have been deductible changes. So it used to be, at least here in the Midwest, I know it's different across the country, but here in the Midwest, $1,000 policy deductible on homes was, the standard. Well, now the standard's $2,500. I mean, it seems like it just changed overnight with all the companies. So I think that's a big thing. The second thing is coverage for your roof. And I still think, again, knock on wood, here in the Midwest, we have not had a big storm where we've seen a lot of roof claims. There have been changes all across the board with 95% of our insurance companies when it comes to coverage. So it's crazy to kind of see that, but again, we have not seen what I think the effect has yet to come. So
Right. I think that goes into, you pick a natural disaster. Again, we're kind of isolated in the Midwest.
Yeah.
We don't have hurricanes, we don't have tornadoes, we don't have landslides. But I always tell people we are impacted by those, and I think that just goes to the insurance companies. They are being impacted with that, which in the customers and clients that we have are impacted down the road.
For sure. Yeah, and I think it's just, I mean, earlier you talked about like the new normal. I mean, you kind of have to set the stage of where that came from almost. You know, you go back 10 years, things were actually relatively calm. We could write insurance almost anywhere, I feel like. I mean, it still might have been tough in Florida, but there were companies that kind of opened up and that kind of thing. And then COVID came, and then we see the inflation increases, you know, cost of materials, labor, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that definitely took a toll there. And then that's when Ian hit. I mean, pretty close, you know, a year after that. So it's like all of a sudden it was a huge issue. And that's what, you know, companies were kind of, I mean, if you remember too, the insurance companies were giving credits, I think, on the auto side for not driving during COVID. So
look how far we've come.
Yeah. So that was definitely a crazy time, but it feel like it all happened at the same time. It was the perfect storm. Rates increased. You know, then, you know, fast forward a couple of years later with reinsurance, companies buying coverage for their own losses was unbelievable. So all that kind of spurred everything to where we are today with all the changes, increases. It's been a whirlwind.
Yeah. So we got through some of the nerdy details of, you know, what impacts our day-to-day job. But when we go to the, you know, client facing and, you know, they're worried about their specific policies, you know, to protect their family and things, what are some things that we could advise, you know, those clients, future clients, to look out for and kind of control? Can't control everything, but, you know, what are some things that would have individual control on affecting their upcoming renewals?
Upcoming renewals, I would say, you know, it used to be in the past, you know, you could file small claims. Well, now it seems like the small claims are really affecting you. So we like to...
You're going to get into my favorite comment clients make. Why do I have it if I never get to use it?
That's right. And
keep going.
We used to say that same thing, but it's like anymore, it's for the bad events. You know, anything over, you know, 25, 50,000 in damage, you know, the major events. So, again, if you can keep higher deductibles is big. I think the big thing insurance companies are pushing is for clients to be proactive almost. So again, you think about somebody that has a finished basement, you know, having, you know, a backup for your sump pump, that kind of stuff. Having an automatic backup generator. The big thing now, automatic water shutoff devices. I mean, they're looking for clients who are proactive, don't have a history of filing claims, that kind of thing. So anything you can do there, I think, definitely.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have personal experience with all of those.
Yes.
Had a water claim, worst claim ever to have.
That's what they say.
Never want to go through it again. So I have probably one of the most extreme sump pump setups ever. I refuse to have another claim again. And the other one, as of recently, is the automatic home shutoff. I think it's a very unique product. It's not that expensive to install.
Yeah.
And the payback, that the credit that the insurance companies are giving you for installing that, you make your money back in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, it reads your water usage. It knows when water should be running. And if it's not, and it's a high flow rate at a weird time, it shuts off within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you look at that worst case scenario, it shuts it off maximum 10 minutes, you have a broken pipe, as opposed to those horror stories we hear, go on a vacation, they come back 5 days later, and you open your stairs and you see it on your steps.
Yeah. We had one, actually probably 20 minutes from here, I think it was probably 4 or 5 years ago, again, similar instance. I mean, it came home, I think the total payout was almost $800,000 because it was running for a week, you know.
And we're talking about a device that costs under $1,000 to install, buy, purchase, everything, all in, less than $1,000. And I think that's the biggest thing when we talk to clients and people we want to do business with, and how we can help is educating and talking about those things. For $1,000 investment, you could potentially save $800,000.
Yeah, it's big. Yeah, it seems like the clients that want to help themselves and do those things are the ones
are getting better pricing,
correct,
better coverage across the board.
Correct.
Yeah. So, what about another, you know, fun topic is we hear, you know, if we switch a little bit to the auto side, Obviously, a lot of changes on that side as well. Probably biggest conversations I have, youthful drivers and how much it costs for, the fender bender that used to be $500, $1,000.
Yeah.
Now you're not getting out for under $5,000. Explain a little bit how those kind of changes have impacted the auto side.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we talked about this on the home side, but going back to COVID, somebody got in an accident, maybe it used to take 2-3 weeks to get their vehicle fixed. Well, now with, parts availability, that kind of thing, you're looking at a couple months in some instances. We had one case probably about a year and a half ago. Typically rental car, you can get coverage up to 30 days. Some companies, again, depending on the perks, you may just have a flat amount. So they had the claim. The rental span, I believe, was like 2-3 months. So the total payout just for the rental car coverage was like $6,000. So I mean that's big when we're talking in terms of.
And if we compare it to most of the times when we have majority of our conversations with our clients are around when we write their business or around renewal time. So these are litter things because the cost to go from a per day to a maximum limit, how much would you talk annually? Would we be talking worst case scenario?
$20 more you're paying for something like that.
So we're having a $20 conversation about a $6,000 impact.
Yeah.
We need to spend our time, around, the right conversations of what we're doing because $20, cup of coffee, a meal, anything is worth that. And you're talking about something that could impact you for months, if one of those bad things were to happen. Where do you go ahead?
No, I was going to say that's just kind of the small piece of it.
Yeah. Where do you see some of the technology we talked about, generators, things you can do on the home? What about anything on the auto side where people can have a little bit more control about how they manage it?
It seems, I mean, again, going back 5 years or so, companies came out with telematics for more on the personal line side, for where you signed up for their program, you get a discount. I mean, we're still seeing a little bit of that. I don't know if it'll maybe turn more towards usage based. Again, you get the calls all the time. Hey, only drive 5,000 miles a year, whatever it is. How does that affect it? So, I think that it's kind of future wise where that's headed.
I always tell people I think one of the craziest things that's changed is if you read or go back 15, 20 years, maybe there was 7 to 10 rating factors, and I always get people, I'm going to buy my daughter a red sports car. Does that cost more on insurance?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that used to be a factor 20 years ago on the colors of the car. Now I think some companies have over 40 different points of maybe even more.
Yeah, I was talking to one of our companies actually, and they came out with a new kind of underwriting program. They said there's over 10,000 factors that could determine a rate. So it's not black or white.
Because I think it goes back to what people traditionally know. Well, I used to drive my own car to work, and now I'm retired, so I went from 1,000 miles a week to 100.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have the same impact. It still can in different areas, but we're not playing by the same rules.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So any other myths out there that you think, whether it be home or auto, that we could educate people on of saying that's not true, or any things you hear more common than not?
Seems lately on the home side, hey, I talked to my neighbor pays this, why am I not paying this? And it goes back to the number of factors, but that's a common one. That's a common one.
Yeah, I would say I hear that too. Or again, just educating and talking to them of, you don't want to use, we need to talk about this.
Right.
We need to know how it would work in the event of something bad happening. But we need to get them to understand our goal is to never use, which is, I think, a unique thing in our business of, we hope you never have to use what we're talking about. But if you do, you want to make sure it responds the way you want it to.
Exactly.
So if someone's reviewing has a renewal coming up in 60 days, we always hear, I want the best rate. I want you to shop around.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of explain your logic here when you want to find that company, develop a relationship as opposed to switching companies every year. What's your philosophy on that?
So when we look at anybody when it comes to new business, every company that we have now, you put in all the information up front. One of the last screens pulls prior carrier information. So you can see Matt Karaffa has been with such and such a company for 5 years, 1 year, 4 months. And that really actually makes a difference. The people that have been with a company, let's say for 20 years, and we rate them out. Typically, those are the ones that may be more competitive because the longevity.
Mm-hmm.
The people that have 12 months of prior coverage with one company, another company before that, another company before that, the companies have, I don't want to say caught on, but that's kind of the rating platform now is it penalizes you. So again, don't get me wrong, rates are important. We want to shop, but if you're shopping every single year, then that's ultimately, I think, going to affect you negatively.
Yeah, one thing my mentor always said, consistently competitive.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean price isn't going to go up, isn't going to go down, but you want to ride the wave like this. You don't want to get a company who's super low and then it jacks it up 30%. The whole bait and switch feeling is not worth it. If you get, why did this happen now and now I'm paying up? It's more harm than good, in my opinion. So I think that's one of the benefits of the companies we deal with on a daily basis. Take that into consideration and try and develop that relationship.
Yeah.
So anything outside of the exciting world of insurance that you wish others knew before you did?
Man, I don't know. It's a tough one. Not really that I can think of.
You got a crazy claim scenario that sticks out to you?
Crazy claims. We had one where, and again, it's all knowing your policy. Client lived out in the country. Deer ran through the window. Broke, shattered all kinds of glass. You can imagine quite the mess. So filed the claim. Because of the certain policy type that they had, there was coverage. In many cases, there may not be coverage. But that was definitely pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
Deer in the house.
Deer in the house, yes.
What is that coverage that?
So yeah, in different, not to get too technical, but different policy forms, you have coverage for contents, and they call it broad form, basic form, special form. So we had special form on contents and property both. Typically, you only have it on the property on a, HO3 is what they call it, but we have it on an HO5, so there was coverage that way.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Deer in the house. I don't know what. Water in the basement, deer in the house. Both are terrible.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Thanks. We're going to run through a couple of random questions here Beyond the Policy. You and I talk a lot of details. Hopefully we're able to help some people out, educate them on what's going out there. So before, not just all insurance related, run through a couple things.
All right.
What's one thing that you've learned being in the insurance field that you've carried over to another aspect of your life?
To another aspect of my life. People matter. So at the end of the day, we truly care about people when, we're talking to people when they're going through the worst times. So I think that's definitely a big, big lesson of.
Yeah, for sure. Coffee or other beverage?
Coffee.
All day?
Black coffee, yeah. No creamer, no sugar, nothing. I could drink it, 100 cups a day probably.
If you didn't sell or work in the insurance field, what would you be doing right now?
Man, I love finance, so it'd probably be something in the finance world. Boring.
Literally, you're going to, anything you could do, you're going to narrow it down to an entire industry?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah.
That's it?
That's
all we get?
We'll leave it at that, yeah.
First concert you ever went to?
First concert, man. Eric Church. Yeah, I think when he first started, well, not first started, but 2006 maybe.
Okay. You have young boys, I got young boys.
Yeah.
What's one thing, if you could snap your fingers and they would have this lesson learned in life, what do you think it would be?
Man, what lesson learned? That's a toughie.
What's one thing you wish they find out sooner than you did in life?
Man. I don't know. That's a tough one.
We can come back to that.
Yeah, sorry.
What's one thing people might be surprised to learn about you?
Surprised to learn about me?
Other than you're exciting, if you didn't sell insurance, you'd work in finance.
Yeah. So actually, this is a funny one. My first agency that I worked at, I was a licensed bail bondsman.
Licensed bail bondsman.
Yes.
What did that do?
So if you get incarcerated, you can post bond or bail. So it's actually licensed to bail people out if you needed a bond to get
Do you still
bailed
have
out.
that
No.
capability?
Not at
Pass
all.
on that?
No.
I think the most interesting thing I ever learned about you is that you played lineman in high school.
That's true. Broken shoulders, broken arm, everything. $155.
Power.
Yeah.
Ethan, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining in. Appreciate it. Catch you next time.
Yep. Thanks.
Thanks for hanging out with me on Beyond the Policy. If you got something out of today's conversation, pass it along to a friend, client, or colleague who might enjoy it too. You can always connect with me through the show notes or on LinkedIn. And remember, the best coverage always starts with the right conversations. Until next time, be better.